welcome to another Age of Grogu. And I have with me Elijah, Max, and Jason. Hey guys, how's it going?
What up?
Right?
Hey. So
Yeah.
we never got in last week. I had some work last weekend, so couldn't make it. So we've got like 2 weeks of bits and pieces to catch up on. How's everyone been the last week or two?
Good.
Good.
Good,
Yeah,
man.
it's
Been
cool.
good. It's been a heavy Star Wars week.
Heavy Star Wars week? Yeah, it definitely was a
Yeah.
heavy Star Wars week. There was a heavy DC week too. A lot of news
Yeah.
going on this week.
Oh,
Just
yeah, that's right.
yeah, we
Heavy weeks, guys.
Yeah.
Heavy weeks.
And then Jason, we can hear the baby in the background there. So how's your baby Enzo?
He's all right.
Yeah?
He's crying a lot.
That's cool.
It's
Yeah,
kind of hard to communicate. It's a
Uh-huh.
language barrier there, so really don't know
Yeah.
what's going on with him.
that's funny. Well, yeah,
Try all different types of stuff.
fair
Maybe
enough. Yeah, that's cool. That's
hold
all
him a
right. So
certain way.
everyone will get used to that in the background, I'm sure. Um, yeah. So Max, any new comics? Anything cool in the last couple of weeks?
Oh yeah. Judgment Day, the big Marvel event of this summer, is finally over.
Okay.
Some cool ramifications in the Marvel universe. I won't spoil it here, but yeah, everything with the X-Men is now going to be more interesting going forward, I guess.
Okay. All right. Fair enough.
Yeah, and oh yeah, Simon Spurrier launched his new book, Damn Them All, which is it's cool. It's like magic. It's got like magic and gangs and
Does he have a
angry
hammer?
Londoners. Yeah.
Right.
Which is weird. I don't think they use a
Angry
hammer at all in the
Londoners.
book.
Okay.
Yeah. Everyone's angry and they're just cursing in the English talk.
So
Right.
it's like Green Street hooligans, kind of.
Yeah, with like Pokemon demons.
Oh, that's kind of cool.
Okay.
Yeah, pick me. I gotta get that. I gotta check that out.
Cool. Jason, what's going on with you? Anything much? You're getting over
Um,
COVID, right?
Yeah, getting over COVID.
Yeah.
Just been watching stuff.
Yeah.
What have I been watching recently? I've been watching some Gumball. It's a good cartoon.
Gumball. Gumball?
Yeah.
I don't know
You
that
ever
one.
watch Gumball?
No.
It's like innovative cartoon, man. It's all
Is-
types of mediums mixed up together. There's
Okay.
like CG characters. There's like
Is it like anime or?
no, it's a Cartoon Network
Oh, okay.
cartoon. It's been around for
Alright.
it's like 10 years now.
That's the one with the
Okay,
little blue
fair
guy. Right?
Yeah, the little blue guy.
Okay,
Okay.
I've heard of that.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't think
It's
I've seen
crazy
it, but
stuff.
I've definitely heard of it.
Fair enough.
But we were just watching that now.
Uh-huh.
We're watching all types of stuff because we got the infant here and we're just feeding him, watching
Uh-huh.
have TV.
That's gotta be fun. Like
That's cool.
feeding your child, pop culture stuff like right away.
He
Introduce
has
them
That's
to stuff
yeah,
like
that's
that.
Predator.
This kid is gonna be
No idea
pop
what's
cultured
going
out.
on, though.
Yeah.
He doesn't know
Like
what
some
he's
of like
watching.
within the first couple hours he was born, he was like hearing Star Wars.
There you
That's,
go.
that's true.
Yep.
Yeah, there was a Star Wars marathon on TNT
Yeah.
on the TV, so you get to watch the whole original trilogy, but
Uh-huh.
he ain't seeing anything. He's
Right.
just sitting there like,
Mm-hmm. Do. Sounds.
yeah, it's like subliminal. If
What's
anything,
this? What's this sound? It's John Williams music.
I always joke. I always joke that he's still sitting with his memories from his past life.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just you lack the means of communicating.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why they're crying so much. Like, oh,
I
family, my wife.
Where'd Barbara go?
Where did
want to
Barbara
remember
go?
it all.
Where did you? And it starts to it fades away by like age 2 and stuff
Mhm.
like that.
Yeah. So yeah, what else is going on, Elijah? How's things going with the designer con that's coming up soon, right?
Oh gosh, it's coming up so quickly. It seems like it's, I mean, it's creeping up. It's coming up in like 2.5 weeks. So
Yep.
I'm just getting adjusted for that. Everything's, pretty much everything's on track.
Mm-hmm. You've got
I
some
gotta-
of your models up, right?
Yeah. Do you have photos of that now?
Yeah, I
You wanna
do
it
actually.
now?
Yeah. This is some of your handiwork here.
Oh, that was just before I finished. Do you have the other photo after that one?
Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, they're in out of order here. So there it is.
Yeah, I had just finished some of them, the Maxes and the CBGBs, like kind of like that's like kind of the ones I had just
Right.
posted. It's kind of how they're going on display.
Yeah.
These are good. I had just posted this and I got a
Those are
response from Linda
like awesome.
Ramon.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
Like, gave me a like on it, and then I responded to her really quickly, and I'm waiting to hear if she responds back to me. But basically,
Right.
Johnny's wife gave me a like on this one.
Oh, cool.
So I mean, I'm just getting better photos of them now that they're kind of like done and everything's like I
Yeah.
kind of did that. They were ready, but I didn't like do like the master like glue down and everything
Right.
until like I felt like
Sorry,
everything was like ready to like take photos.
Right.
So I still
That's
need to
cool.
finish the crocodile, which I need to get like I'm waiting to get some polystyrene printed,
Right.
and then I can kind of piece that one together pretty quickly. But it's coming up. Other than that, I got a record that I've been waiting for like 6 months, and
That's cool.
that came in, so I was pretty happy
A
about
Bjork
that.
one.
No, here, hold on one second. Well, some explaining, but
Uh-huh.
hold on one second. Okay, this is like volume 2. Like there was another album, but this is, it's a collection of songs that were in the jukebox at the 430 Kings Road, the Malcolm McLaren owned
Okay.
shop, which is, what the first miniature of
Uh-huh.
is.
Is that
And
a
it came
recent
with
record or is that an original kind of way
This
back?
just came out.
Right.
This one, it's by Stranger Than Paradise. That's the name of the record label, and they're the store in London. They
Right.
did one. There was a first volume of this album that came out years ago. That they did a reprint of it, and then this is like the second volume with the additional songs that were in that jukebox. So it's a collection of old 50s, 60s rock and roll
Okay.
stuff, and it comes with it. I know he's totally not listening. This is came with a lithograph of Jordan, and you know who a Jordan would be if you watched the Sex Pistols show, Pistols,
Okay.
but you guys didn't. But I did, and this was so if Liam watches, maybe he'll be like, "Oh, that's cool."
Cool.
For the one person,
Awesome.
but
For the
that's what
one
I got,
person.
and I'm
You're
From
really
England.
selling it
From
right
England.
now, man.
stoked about it. No, it's cool.
Uh-huh.
I'm cool.
That's cool.
It's cool. If other people don't know about it, then you know you're extra cool.
Right. Fair enough then. Fair enough. And speaking of extra cool, I picked up this.
You're so cool that
Elijah just
people
froze.
don't
So cool, Elijah just froze. I actually picked this up. It's in the back here this week. A new Hot Toys sideshow figure of Anakin Skywalker on the Stap. With all these
Who's that?
discounts I had and stuff like that. I really, really wanted to get this, and I'm afraid it's going to like sell out very soon because it's been up for a little while. So I just took a gamble and decided, screw this, I'm going to get it. So I did an unboxing yesterday. So if you get the chance, check out the unboxing video. I had a good friend Corey Van Dyke from Convo Core on, and we're just talking through it as we unboxed, and his girlfriend Aubrey. Yeah, so what other news has been going on this week? Well, let's kind
Some
of...
big news this week.
Yeah, some big news. Let's start with, before we go into shows and stuff like that, let's kind of talk about this little gun. James Gunn ended up by taking over the DC universe. There's also comments referring to there being a rival between him and Kevin Feige, which there is not. They're just good friends, and they're just as happy to, see James get the position. So, what does this mean, guys? What does this mean for the DC universe with James Gunn in charge?
I think this is a huge plus. I mean, a huge win for DC because man, they have been like all over the place.
I agree.
Just all over the place. And nothing links up. Animated and TV and movies. They have all these great characters, and nothing really shines out except Superman, the original movie. It's like there's not much that stands out in all those characters and all those worlds and all those different branches that they have. There's very few that shine, which is weird because they're all great characters, and it seems like in the right hands, like.
DC should be a no-brainer.
It's like a no-brainer. It's like
right.
All of them can be redone multiple times. I'm like that. That's fine with the superhero stuff. You can always get different interpretations of these characters. It's like totally okay. That's kind of what they're based upon.
Yeah.
So I could see them like a relaunch totally working if they were all really good and they did a relaunch of the whole like DC entertainment universe, like animated and everything. Like
Yeah.
I could see it just helping a lot.
I'm not sure if they're gonna reboot
Yeah, I think
it.
it's gonna be I think it's gonna be a soft relaunch because they haven't
I'm
done
sure,
what the
I'm
X-Men
sure,
did.
but I'm just
They
saying
haven't
that like
broken their canon a million times.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to dismiss all the movies they've established.
Yeah,
over
I
there.
don't.
I think
don't
they're gonna be
either.
some
Yeah,
tweaks.
yeah.
Like Ezra Miller's definitely gone.
It's going to be a Flashpoint kind of reboot.
Yeah, I feel
the way
like
they did the comics with the new 52.
New 52,
yeah. I mean, they could do that because that's canon.
I think it's. I don't even think they're gonna go that major. I think it's gonna be some tweaks. Like Ezra Miller's gonna be replaced by a different actor, and they're not really gonna mention it. It's gonna be something where the public's gonna understand why.
Yeah.
I think Ben Affleck's probably gonna come back for a few movies, and then they're gonna. I don't think I think unfortunately that we're not gonna have a Batman for as long as we had an Iron Man for. I think they're gonna probably phase him out rather quickly, just because of Ben Affleck's age and. Other stuff like that.
The sad thing about the DC universe is because like they had a head start already being household names.
Yes,
all they needed to do was make decent movies. But like I also their main struggle was just trying to catch up to Marvel and trying to like do a kind of speed run to get it to the Avengers status. But they're missing a lot of points there, and so just with the names alone isn't going to help them. That's how much they've messed up. You had Batman, you have Superman. You have all these like household names that were already household
Wonder
names.
Woman,
and you can't.
I think that's the problem is that people already know these characters so well, or at least a lot of the general public thinks they know the characters so well and have these idyllic versions of the characters in their heads.
So there's already like it's not a blank slate like Marvel kind of.
It's not. Marvel had like people knew nothing about Iron Man. They dismissed large parts of Iron Man's character and his history and who he is to make him work.
Already have established thoughts and ideas of what Batman.
Yeah, people didn't have the same.
You're not owning up to that. People are gonna be disappointed, and that's what happened. It's like it shows you what even just having the name and the IP doesn't help you much. Like look at Halo should be a guaranteed like win. As far as
now Halo was a different situation where they just actively just went in the wrong direction on purpose.
But that's what happened. Like they went in a wrong direction, whether they did it on purpose or not. It doesn't matter if you have good IP. If your story's crap, it's gonna suck.
I think that's why Henry Cavill left The Witcher is because not because the story was bad, but because he openly said that he didn't like that they were deviating from the source material so much.
Oh, really?
He knows the source material.
I've got to say that we've got a replacement there too. So
he was a big fan of the source material, and the reason why he signed on is because he wanted to play the Geralt he was familiar with and that the fans liked. And the writers were actively against the source material. They basically said they didn't like it, they didn't read it, both the games and the movies, and the books. So it caused a lot of problems when Henry Cavill was trying to be the one to clean up the mess.
Wasn't aware of that. Interesting.
Yeah, that was a big problem with the production. It wasn't that they would try to ignore the lore and the mythos to try and make their own story that they thought was cool, and Henry Cavill would be like, "Oh no, we shouldn't do that because it breaks this, and this," and he was trying to be the gatekeeper to keep it on track, but
so it wasn't just the matter that he got Superman is coming back and all this though. I mean, I'm sure that was a big part.
That's a rare situation where their star is like on board with the story and the lore, like 100%.
Well, it's even more rare that the creator of it is just kind of there for the paycheck right now, and just happy to be getting money because he got kind of screwed on a lot of the other deals. That he's with the creative saying, "Yeah, change whatever you want," but Henry Cavill's like, "If you change this so much, it's not the same story and the same character."
Right.
Yeah.
So I expect to see post season 4 is probably going to be a very different show.
It's just reboot the whole thing. They got like discount Hemsworth.
Yeah, right. They couldn't even get the Hemsworth. Honestly, though, isn't anyone besides Chris kind of a discount Hemsworth? Like,
yeah, maybe.
When you got the other one from Westworld, the one who plays Thor in the theater version of Thor.
Oh, really?
Well, in Ragnarok, he's I think he's above Liam Hemsworth at this point. Okay. Because what did Liam Hemsworth do last? Independence Day Insurgents or Resurgence? That was a crap movie. I think that destroyed his career. Like Hunger Games ain't gonna help you anymore.
Right.
Like that was his big break was Hunger Games, and then he did that
Are
crappy.
the Hemsworth the anti-Skarsgårds? Where all the Skarsgårds are just amazing, but like
there's rumors that the Sarsgaards are just vampires. They just eat PAs.
Okay.
It's just a family of vampires.
So rounding it
You
back
got one Chad Skarsgård, the one who is the Viking.
Okay, so rounding it back to James being in charge of DC, what are we hoping to see from all this, guys?
Well, I'm just hoping to see. I'm just hoping to see like what he did with Peacemaker and Suicide Squad, just like take it across the board.
Yeah. Yep.
But like, it's an already established universe, so you're gonna have to work with that.
Correct. Yes. Yeah.
I want to see a unified DC more than anything. I want to see, it's not really about team up movies or a large arc or anything, but I think the universe needs to have its own legs to stand on. I think they have too many characters that people know and love to just be sitting on the wayside doing nothing with them.
Right.
I feel like Peacemaker did the most unifying out of anything so far.
Hey, Laval.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Like by even including them at the end, the Justice League shows up at the end.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So if they just keep doing that, which makes sense that they'd give it to him after the success of that.
Yeah.
If
that was
that's
definitely
the angle they go with like a DC universe, then man, that'd be great.
I mean, James has definitely expressed interest. He's obviously still going to be directing or at least producing the Peacemaker season 2 kind of stuff.
Hell yeah.
And he still wants to direct other films, but I mean, of course, he's still got to finish Guardians of the Galaxy 3. So he's already, he's got a full plate ahead of him. I think he's going to be leaving straight from Marvel, just jumping straight into DC.
This is his forte too. This is his genre.
Oh yeah, I've always known
working on
DC was his thing before Marvel even. So.
Well, he's always been doing superhero stuff from the get-go.
Yeah, I think it's good to have someone in charge who likes superheroes and wants comic book IPs to succeed rather than just doing it for the
he
money.
Could bring on some type of like a more adult version, kind of like a Venture Brothers type feel on this superhero universe that has been established. I think that would be a good direction to go.
Yeah, and hopefully bring back a bit more of the fun.
Yeah, well, one of the things I see a lot of DC fans talking about is which era of DC are we going to be seeing right now? Is it going to be the New 52 kind of dark and gritty, or is it going to be the pre-Convergence, a little bit lighter, different, a little bit more balanced tones, or is it going to be more the Silver Age, Golden Age, where it's a little campier?
I think you could do them all depending on who you're focusing on at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, I think a lot of people,
you shouldn't just
they're going to be focusing on a lot of Golden Age material, considering that they're focusing on JSA right now. And one of the big relaunches they're doing this year is what they're called the Return of the Golden Age, where they're bringing back all these forgotten heroes and a new JSA. And Jeff Johns is launching all this new Starman, Stargirl content, stuff like that.
See, instead of homogenizing the whole vibe of the entire universe, just choose and pick whatever vibe you want based on the movie who you're doing it with. Like what Marvel did. Look at like Guardians of the Galaxy.
Established tones. I think Marvel doesn't have.
Well, they have their tones with all like Captain America stuff. Yeah. And then they have
but it all gets very samey.
It is very samey, but it's still kind of different, It's not as homogenized as like say the Snyderverse was.
Well, I think that's the thing about DC is that DC has a lot more just stark imagery and stark just iconic stuff that has a lot more of a look to it than Marvel does. Like Marvel's in New York and Chicago and DC, but DC is like it's just Gotham City, Metropolis.
We're so used to like when you think of DC in the cinema, it's like Batman.
I think that's why they need to do something interesting with the looks of the cities and the looks of the world to make it, actually feel like a DC universe rather than just another superhero world.
Right. Yeah. Or just bringing this into play.
Realistic world already, so.
Black Adam's doing relatively well in the theaters. It's like $111 million over the last week, I guess. Or since it's been released. I haven't seen the film. Have you guys seen it yet?
I saw it twice.
You've seen it twice? Okay, so what's your thoughts on the film then, Max?
I loved it actually. It really It was beyond my expectations of what I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be just a typical rock schlock film, but the action was great. It was the story had a little to be desired. The third act, but I don't know. It took a lot from Snyder's look and feel to his universe without just completely taking his tone. It was a little bit different tone, but the look was definitely a homogenized DC look rather than feeling like a Marvel movie.
Gotcha. Okay.
Especially the way The Rock would during the fights, it would be like slow mo, but he'd still be moving super speed, kind of the way Snyder would film Superman in the Flash.
I'm not necessarily a fan.
I
of
like that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love that. That's my favorite stuff.
That is the way these fights need to be filmed to show the speed and the strength of these characters.
Smallville fight still holds up, man, in my opinion. Smashing through that IHOP.
And they
the fight. I thought you were talking about the show Smallville. I was like, I didn't watch that.
Oh, right.
That's what Brent likes. He likes that type of special effects. The CW
with the green.
I just don't like 45% of my movie being in slow motion when it is fast-paced moving.
There is no slow motion in Man of Steel.
What? Yeah, there really isn't. Yeah,
there really is.
Yeah. No, there isn't. Dude, have you watched it?
I think there's one shot, and it's not slow mo. It's just
there's no slow motion. He broke his mold when he did that movie. There's no Zack Snyder slow motion in that film at all.
Yeah, he didn't bring it back until even Batman vs Superman doesn't have that much slow mo.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one or two shots.
I think you're just thinking of 300 or maybe.
No, this is the Snyder Cut. Snyder Cut had a lot of slow mo. I'll be the first to say that it had.
He went back to form on that one.
Yeah. Right? That was because they said unlimited time. You can do whatever you want.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what made it 4 hours long.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I still watch that like 50 times though.
Fair enough.
It's good stuff.
I've watched it once.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, Brent, there's no slow motion in Man of Steel. It's crazy. I know you think there is, but there isn't. But
that's the way you gotta film these characters who go fast and do things that normal humans can't do. Is you have to show the comparison to a normal human just going like slow-mo trying to hit him.
We don't see it when Thor is fighting Captain America or Iron Man.
That's because they don't have super speed.
Yeah, but they go. But they don't need to. Yeah, but they don't need to slow that down at the same time.
Well, because those Marvel. I mean, when they actually that's Quicksilver was when he was shot because he's the only character that really has super speed. Besides, I guess Captain Marvel has super speed, but. When they shot Quicksilver, his scenes.
Well, yeah, but that is a difference. Yeah, use the slow speed where you want to put it with your most powerful speedster, which is fair enough. They also do that in The Flash and in those TV shows. But when Superman's fighting, what's it called?
Zod.
Yeah, any of them. It just needs to. Anyway, whatever. Anyway. Being the case,
I was wanted to see like a Dragon Ball style fighting in a DC Superman. I thought that was great.
What would you think of Zack Snyder did Dragon Ball Z? That was the big thing after he left DC. Everyone was saying he should just do Dragon Ball Z. He's the only one that can really do it.
Well, see,
I kind of agree. He's the only one that
Zack Snyder got to play around. He got his own playground, like Sucker Punch. Yeah. It was just a Zack Snyder wet dream. Yeah, and it was
imagery
just made no sense. But like,
I never saw that one.
But it was just so much awesome imagery.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a Transformers, like you just enjoy the set pieces. Because if you try to look at it as a whole, it's crap. But it's more of just like a showcase of what we can do with special effects.
Yeah.
I still think Zack Snyder was he doesn't get his dues as being a pioneer for being the first person to shoot a whole movie on green screen, like 300. Everyone told him that it was impossible. He couldn't even find a studio to shoot the movie, and now it's the only way movies are shot. I mean,
actually, that was slow motion they did
for a while at least.
Slow motion they did in 300 is pretty sick.
Right.
I mean, if you want an all green screen movie, you could look at like the prequels and then maybe Sky Captain, and that's when they use it all.
Right.
Yeah.
Anchorman puts here, what did I think of Man of Steel? I saw it originally in the theaters. The story didn't pull me in massively. I felt that I didn't like. Most of it was I just didn't like the connection of certain characters. I really didn't like the Lois Lane Superman connection, and I did not enjoy the Martha Kent Clark Kent connection. I thought there could have been much stronger stuff, and I've seen much stronger stuff in both animated and previous carnations of Superman. So
with his parents, yeah, that was kind of
yeah.
fun.
I thought they leaned in more on John Kent and Man of Steel.
John Kent was terribly done too. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
You didn't like I did John Kent. I didn't love his death. I thought that was a little iffy, but I thought the way they did the connection to Superman having both his fathers teaching him two different sides of what being a man he needs to be. What I thought was really well done.
There were things
I'm a Man of Steel fan.
See, there were things
that scene where he's.
Yeah.
When he's flying up and he's giving the lecture, the talks from both dads, and the voiceovers from both of them.
Oh yeah, that was good stuff.
There were things that definitely worked about
together it. For the
when it comes full circle, that's what made those scenes.
Hell
work.
yeah, that was the payoff.
Yeah, totally.
There are things that worked about it for me, and there are a lot of things that didn't work about it for me. And I also just the setting. I feel. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like I would like to still see Superman not so broody and just live in a Superman world to contrast against the reality of Batman being broody.
Well, I think the problem is there's very few villains who are physically intimidating Superman without Superman having to resort to being broody and all angry all the time.
Right, yeah.
Because it's like, what are you going to do? Put Mr. Mxyzptlk in there and have him just be annoyed to death? Or have Metallo just weaken him to death? Or Lex Luthor just physically annoy him to death? Like, there's the problem is once you introduce a villain around Superman's lifestyle, he's going to have to get angry and broody if he can't defeat them.
Right. Well, I mean,
Superman's already a problematic character to be writing with, especially with the modern storytelling.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think there's options that they haven't took in movies. Just the angle that,
I agree.
Just the angle that like Superman's, I guess, greatest fault is that he can't save everybody. He can't be everywhere all at the same time.
Yes.
And the you know, I don't know. I think that if they went with that angle and he's like, yeah, I can do a lot, but I can't I can't do everything. I can't
Wasn't that that was Man of Steel though? That was like the end of Man of Steel when he's like he realized he literally couldn't save everyone and he had to kill Zod.
I know, but like kind of.
And in Batman v Superman, it just went political.
Instead of it being like a villain,
alien?
Yeah.
Do we trust an alien?
Yeah, no, I think what they should do with Superman, I think the problem is they should do a movie without a villain and focus in on social issues. Because at his core, I think he needs to have that little bit of political energy, whether not leaning in one direction, but more of a social conscious thing. I think
they do that in Superman and Lois.
Superman is. Yeah, I think that's when Superman really thrives. As a character.
They do that in The Boys.
Yeah, well, but Superman and Lois actually had a very strong Superman arc in the reference of he literally felt the weight on his shoulders of the world, and this is already a developed Superman. This is not one where we see the backstory at the beginning. This is one that they I felt they did that way stronger and way better in Superman and Lois series, at least the first season and into partially into the second season, than what I got from the experience out of watching Man of Steel, for example. And yes, I know they've got longer to play with that sort of character in a TV format, but even then, the pilot episode of Superman and Lois was a strong, emotionally done, well scripted pilot.
I think they took a lot of Zack Snyder's look and feel from that. For that
right,
show
but they did that what I would consider more right to what I would like to have seen from Superman, if that makes sense.
I mean, I think they borrowed a lot of what Snyder already did. Like mentioned him feeling the weight of the world. It's the whole thing in Batman vs Superman. Superman being the one that feels the weight in the world when he's the one that survives the explosion at the Capitol building. He's the one that
That goes back to the 1978 Superman, to the Richard Donner Superman. He does feel the weight of these elements. The weight of nuclear war, the weight of
We need a Richard Pryor in the next Superman. Guys.
No, we don't. No, we don't. Anyway.
Right, Brent. Superman 3,
baby. Richard Pryor that you throw in there. That would be just Kevin Hart.
Oh God.
Yeah, probably got Kevin Hart or Jamie Foxx.
Yeah. Anyway,
Jamie Foxx would be really good in it though. That's the problem. Jamie Foxx is too good in everything he does. You put him in, you'd be like,
Was
all
he
right, Jacob,
supposed to
be
be
annoying,
Spawn?
and he'd be the best character.
Is he gonna be Al Simmons in the Spawn
Yeah,
movie?
he's gonna be Spawn. He's still committed to that. Todd McFarlane's still talking about it. Apparently,
isn't that like they were done? They made it, and it's like ready to almost like they're in post production on it, right?
It yet. I don't think it's filmed yet. Supposedly, Todd McFarlane's directing it.
I thought it was made in like.
Bring back to John Leguizamo. He was the best thing in the Spawn movie.
I don't even like John Leguizamo.
You didn't like what was the guy playing
Violator?
Yeah, he was Violator. Who was it's the martial arts dude that played Spawn? I can't remember his name.
Michael J. White.
Michael J. White. Yeah.
He's a Bronze Tiger, Brent.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right.
Bronze Tiger from.
Is he in the CW?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea.
Bronze Tiger is like a DC character who's like
he didn't he show up in the he showed up in the CW universe, right?
Was it the Flash?
Maybe. I don't remember most of the villains. Most of them.
He's also Black Dynamite.
Once you got past.
Yeah, that's it.
He's also an android cop that I worked on.
Oh,
yeah. He was the main character in that Asylum movie that I production designed for.
Oh boy.
All right. Oh yeah. So let's jump ship over to the Marvel universe. Again, because I was working last week, we never got the chance to do reaction videos, but they did drop the trailers for the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special, which was a lot of fun. I have to admit.
Yeah. And Ant-Man.
And the Ant-Man, we got two trailers within 2 days of each other.
Dude, Kang looks
unexpected.
sick.
He does.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I had to take a screenshot of when you see him in the tunic.
I haven't.
Yeah,
I
the blue.
that up, but you see
the blue.
The blue. Face. They made the helmet look good,
they
actually.
Scars too to kind of make up for the lines that are in his design. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it looks like surprisingly comic accurate, which is the one thing I think
is the trend that we're leaning towards lately. Is just
I think they realize that people Google the characters now. Like, I think they realize they can't get away with just having a character who looks nothing like the character anymore.
The black leather suits.
Yeah, like the characters like Whiplash. They're like, I think they realize people don't want the gritty reimaginings. They want to see at least enough of the character.
First phase, Whiplash was just the gritty, like a jumpsuit.
Reimagining,
You want Galactus. You don't want a cloud,
Right?
Well, okay, that's the one thing. Galactus is
be weird.
A cloud.
Usually just like forms into the humanoid form with like all that particles.
Well, so technically, the way he works is you see what you most fear. So technically, he is just a cloud. He doesn't have an actual shape, but he takes different forms into human forms. He takes
like it.
Kind of like it, yeah.
They should explain that, but you gotta see him.
I know they didn't explain it.
At some point, it would be just cool to see a dead accurate Galactus.
You know what was cool in that movie was Silver Surfer though. That was awesome.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to do an unaccurate Silver Surfer. Like he has one design.
That was Doug Jones, right? Who played?
Yeah.
But his voice was. Oh man.
Yeah, who was his voice?
Oh, it's the guy with the best voice. He does all the monologues in all the best movies.
I don't know.
Lawrence Fishburne?
Lawrence Fishburne?
In Silver Surfer.
Lawrence Fishburne?
Figuring that out. Jumping back to the Guardians of the Galaxy holiday special just quickly. I mean, I'm looking forward to that one. That's the next one coming. Actually, technically, Wakanda Forever is 2 weeks time now.
Oh yeah.
And providing that we can all get out to the theater, we'll
it is Lawrence Fishburne.
It is Lawrence.
I knew it.
And they dropped the single, by the way, for Wakanda Forever. I think it's like a tribute to Chadwick Boseman.
Ludwig Göransson again.
Ludwig is doing the soundtrack, I believe. Yes, which again,
the busiest producer in Hollywood.
He's doing, he's really grown big in the last couple of years, which is cool. But yeah, I mean, then we've got Guardians Holiday Special comes out, I think it was late November, wasn't it? Something like that. And
Cosmo is confirmed for that movie,
Cosmo is confirmed.
Yeah. And voiced by the girl from Borat too.
Maria Bakalova. I believe her last name is. She's great. She's
awesome. She carried that whole movie.
Do we think this is going to be that?
I thought Sacha Baron Cohen did some great stuff, but she really was the standout.
But she was she stood out from that. Right. That was huge.
She was so much more memorable than his assistant in the first movie.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Really? I thought I was. I mean, I don't know. Okay.
I mean, the assistant was like
in each one of those, and even in Bruno,
Bruno had the funny assistant though, where they fall in love and then they.
That was good stuff. Oh man, that was good.
Yeah. They do the whole wrestling thing at the end. That was just crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Pissed off all those middle Americans.
I just love that was real. I wish there was that was like 10 years later so we could see cell phone footage of it.
Oh, that was
right. Cool. Yeah, that's right. That's why. Yeah, that was a weird time.
We're going too far off track for Brent.
No. I never saw Barrett. I never saw Barrett. There's only certain things that I can handle. There's only certain kind of humor I can handle from Sacha Baron Cohen, and the trailers did nothing for me. I just had
they were all Ali G show characters.
I don't know what that is, but okay. Anyway,
he made a movie on all his characters from Ali G. So
oh really?
Right?
Okay.
That's like
he's the Booyakasha guy,
Booyakasha.
It's like a British gangster type of dude.
Oh, really?
It's a
genre of people.
Cohen in a yellow jumpsuit and like a skull cap, and he'd wear these big glasses, and he'd interview British politicians and be like, "Hey man, so tell me how."
I don't find that funny.
He'd interview Noam Chomsky.
Right. Either way. This, as I said, there's some things I enjoy his humor on. There are a lot of things that I don't.
Just goes over your head, huh, Brent?
It just doesn't resonate with me.
It doesn't. That Donald Trump interview. It aged amazingly.
Yeah. Oh, he also had a show, This Is America.
That was good.
That one was
good
great.
Stuff.
Yeah, okay, guys, I don't have a humor bone. Okay, simple as that. Anyway. Do we think this Guardians holiday special is going to be about the same length of time that
I think so.
Werewolf by Night is about an hour long.
It's got the same intro,
special presentation. Yeah,
which I think is a great medium to introduce into the Marvel universe. That
I do too.
Be a lot more flexible.
The one shot,
yeah. It's like above a one shot.
Yeah, it's a longer version of the one shot, but
like what 15 minutes.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Well, it's like a one-shot comic book. It's kind of like that format.
Oh, yeah.
And then, the trailer for Quantum Mania looks cool. It sets up the whole going back to the Quantum Verse and in a very basic form. I don't know if I necessarily want to see any more trailers on this film. This film comes out in February.
Elton John.
Yeah.
Yeah. They're always picking good music now.
But it seems like...
we have to.
Yeah. This is going to be the first real time that Kang has been back in since Loki, like the real solid kind of.
It's like Cassie's recast too.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be, it's going to be the release of that character from here on in. We've been waiting for that, and I don't know if that's been a slow burn into this phase of the.
Scott Lang finds himself in another heist, huh?
Yeah, I think that's kind of funny.
That's always his thing, huh?
Yeah.
She's like, I need you to do something for me.
Yeah.
I think it's funny people act like we've been waiting so long for Kang when he was basically introduced a year and a half ago in Loki or something like that. Like basically not even 2 years ago. He's being introduced in February formally. It wasn't that long of a wait for Kang.
But nobody else even is aware of his existence in the outside of that world.
It depends on
not that we know of, at least.
It depends on which reality you're in. But
makes sense. Yeah, but
I'm sure there's someone who knows about Kang. I'm gonna guess it's Jan Van Dyne.
Yeah, she seemed pretty.
Well, she knew
fearful about going back.
She's lived there for how long?
Yeah.
And we have Hope wearing Jan's comic book uniform and having Jan's hair in the comics.
Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. You know what's crazy is like when we saw her in the last Ant-Man and the Wasp, I'm like, dude, she lived there. And now that they've established the quantum universe is more of a livable place with like the population and stuff, it's like, okay, that makes sense. I thought she was walking around in that weird world forever.
Yeah.
They made it seem a little Mad Maxy in the when they first introduced it. Now it seems a little more sci-fi worldy.
Right.
Yes, it's more of a civilization.
Yeah.
Hold on,
Yeah.
get back.
Yep. The news we haven't really talked about because this dropped like 2 weeks ago of Harrison Ford joining Captain America 4. That was. It seems like it's forever ago. It was only like less than 2 weeks.
I can't wait for him to look into a camera and interview and angrily say, "I don't know what a Hulk is. Stop asking me what a Hulk is."
Yeah, I mean he's taking over William Hurt's position. Role who passed away last year.
The
sadly.
baby.
But what is?
He's trying to one-handedly put on his headphones.
That's kind of funny. I have to admit, this is amusing. But yeah,
Yeah,
this is kind of funny.
He did it.
There you go. He got it.
He
got it.
Oh,
he got it.
The baby.
The baby. Show me the baby. Oh. Oh, look at that. The eyes are open.
He's got big eyes.
Baby Enzo. Oh, look at that.
Say hi, Enzo.
Nope, to sleep. Oh. His first online venture.
Oh, how cute.
He can watch this in 15 years' time.
I want the floating thing that Grogu sits in.
That'd be cool. Yeah.
Someone needs to work on that.
Absolutely.
Get that technology going so I could use it already.
Yeah, exactly. So jumping into Harrison Ford as I mean, he seems
Thunderbolt
like a
Ross.
decent fit. I mean, it's going to be interesting
to
see how...
He does kind of have the Red Hulk hair, like the Thunderbolt Ross hair. He just needs a mustache.
See a mustache on him, yeah.
Yeah.
Have we ever seen a mustache on Harrison Ford?
Yeah, he's had a mustache before. For sure.
What movie? Yeah, I'm trying to remember what it was.
Like
I'm looking
at 3 weeks now.
2-3 weeks. There you go.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, in that Western movie.
Yeah.
I found a lot of photos of him with a mustache. Tell me that photo isn't literally Thunderbolt Ross in the cover.
Oh, that's funny. Oh, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. So that's cool. Yeah. I mean, that's that. And then the one other piece of, well, it's not really Marvel. It is, but it's not. Venom 3 has got a new director set to install.
I felt so bad for her. People were just so mean on Twitter.
Yeah.
They were saying,
Twitter
like,
bait.
can we? Like, people were just like, as soon as it was announced, they were just tweeting out, like, can we not do this? We've suffered enough. It's like the movie sucks.
Maybe she'll do something. Maybe she'll do something really different that the first two. Because I was not a fan of.
She was the person in charge of. She was the producer in charge of. The executive producer in charge of these movies. She's.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Because they made money, they're like, you could direct the next one, and she was like, awesome. I mean, this is going to be the most venomous movie ever.
Venomous.
I don't think she knows what people want in a Venom movie.
Can't believe they really did like Agent Venom.
When did they do Agent Venom?
Well, just with the chocolate and. You think that's what they're going to do next? The Agent Venom?
I had no idea.
Oh, I mean.
Oh, that would be weird.
Well, Agent Venom's a different character. He's.
Oh right, that's Flash, right?
Yeah, Flash when he gets the Venom suit. Which honestly, why not?
We're gonna need to establish a different Flash. Just to get Joe Manganiello.
Yeah.
I would love that. That'd be funny. He'd work in that part. He's kind of like a Punisher Venom.
Right.
I think I have a feeling like by casting Joe Manganiello, they could have done an Agent Venom in that universe. That would have been cool.
Yeah, I mean,
preferred him as an Eddie Brock over Topher Grace.
I think there is going to be another symbiote villain because they don't know what to do, so it's going to be just another symbiote. So unless they go with a recent villain like Null, it's probably going to be Agent Venom or just they pull a random different Venom symbiote out of the symbiote hat, which is a lot of them, like
There's
Screech.
Plenty of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They all have names like Pain and Screech and Scowl and stuff like that. Like,
Oh, verbs.
Yeah,
they're all verbs.
So jumping out of unless there's any other news from
Jumping
Marvel
Jehoshaphat.
you can think of, jumping out of that, they dropped this week that Avatar: The Way of the Water has got the final length run of 3 hours and 10 minutes.
Oh.
Can anyone say bathroom break?
Running water.
That is long.
They're like,
oh yes, running.
Yeah,
yes.
It's like water. It's like Water World.
They're gonna give you an empty Gatorade bottle when you enter.
That is a cry for help.
I feel like James Cameron's gonna complain every step of this release. Like he's already been complaining in the in the upfront, like in the interviews so far. But like people are gonna talk about the movies like they sit through all these hours of Marvel stuff, and it's like, well, I mean,
yeah, because it's awesome, James.
Right.
Yeah, you look at what you're putting out. Look at the rate of what they're putting out. People got invested when you can't put out one thing every 12 years and expect people to be like hyper invested in it.
All he really did is introduce a new fetish for people.
And if it looks like a nature, if it looks like a nature documentary for like hours and hours, you're just gonna like fall asleep.
That would be better.
Yeah,
like
maybe.
If David Attenborough's in it,
the worst IP rollout of all time.
Sure, there's gonna be some action in there.
Get David Attenborough to voice it, I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Oh God.
That might be better though, because like at this point, like
a long documentary.
You can't roll out an IP every 10 years, just like having one thing every 10 years, expect the IP to last.
Hey, Liam.
Yeah.
There's been nothing.
I'm way over the Avatar. I don't seem like interested at all. I'll probably go watch it, but like it was so long ago, I wasn't interested the first time. So like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying. You physically can't keep interest for something 10 years later. Like
we may not, but there's a ton of people out there who
there's a younger generation.
You know?
Yeah.
I'm sure, but
there's only one thing that they have to go
they're
off
not
of.
young. That movie came out a long time ago.
No, there's a new generation that is young that is actually kind of getting into it.
Are they?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. It's kind of hard to get into one movie.
Well, they were kids at the time, and now they're in their early 20s. So
I know, but it's just I
think it was a lot of adults who got into it.
Either way, I'm curious to see how the box office results will go. Because
I think it's going to be a little disappointing in America, but it's going to do bonkers overseas.
You're right. I think you're right there. Actually, I agree. I think it's going to do average over here. It's
I
going to do
well. Complain about people not going to the cinema anymore.
But I think it's going to drop off. It'll have like the hype of every other film that's big. It's going to have a big.
I don't think it's going to have the same hype as even something like Black Adam, which had a pretty successful ad campaign. They had big stars in that.
They have The Rock.
But
with the
original
Rock,
the ad campaign you need is just have The Rock in it.
The original
I know, but
Avatar
even still,
they
had a pretty hefty ad campaign to try and push Black Adam.
I always was a big thought process of when James Cameron released Titanic, a lot more female-oriented viewers went and saw Titanic dragging their boyfriends. It had staying power. And then it was quite the reverse for Avatar. I think all the guys had more of a return viewing of Avatar.
Because Billy Zane wasn't in it.
Because Billy Zane wasn't in it. But I think it was almost like the guys wanted to kind of outbeat Titanic by keeping this being the seriously, like the length of time. Titanic was number one in the box office. I think it was. Titanic was a big box office hit and stayed in the theaters at number one for like 20 years.
You're talking about a completely different time of like movies of like how things operate.
Right,
but it's different now, man.
But the thing is that it's different now. But it's like it was just an interesting thing that when Avatar did come out, it was the return factor again that James Cameron had created. He returned a repeat viewing factor for both of those movies. It just that Titanic was more.
I think for kind of completely two different reasons. It's like Titanic caught on where it was like, I mean, you can watch the old documentaries or whatever, but it's like people didn't know if it was an action movie or a love movie or whatever. It didn't do well, and
it was definitely a romantic.
Got better and better and better and better. Like it stayed in. It started off slow, and they had the bigger opening like weeks after it first opened.
Yeah.
Wait, what are you talking about?
But it had staying power. Titanic.
I'm just saying. Originally, Titanic, when they were first promoting it, they were promoting it as an action movie, and they were promoting it as like
I think it
a love movie. And the original poster didn't even have like a love story on it. It was just the side of the ship, and like they were promoting it differently. And the first
it had all types. It was like all types of things wrapped into one. It had your love story. It had your crazy
but people didn't realize
state-of-the-art special effects. You know, the fact that he actually went down and filmed the actual Titanic. It was like all types of innovation happening all at once.
Totally.
And it was like it got the mass appeal of everyone because they had their romance sprinkled in there too. And then you watch the movie. When you watch the movie, it's like the first half of the movie is like, oh, romance, and then all of a sudden it turns into an action movie.
Yeah.
But then you've got Avatar, which was driven by the new technology. 3D is best it's ever going to be.
But it was political in such like a vague, thin. Anyone could agree this is kind of a wrong thing that these characters are doing.
Right.
Vibe that it wasn't that. It was just pseudo.
Like, it was all like straw men kind of characters.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, but I mean, the bottom line is that James Cameron is probably going to be, his legacy is just going to be innovation.
Yeah, for sure.
That is all his movies, like what he brings to the table is like innovation and some visual effects, and that's what Avatar mostly was. It was one of the only movies you could think of that was fully immersive into this whole world.
Yeah,
there came a whole like depression, a whole brand new type of depression of people who were depressed because they couldn't be in Pandora in real life.
Oh, really?
Was that a real thing? Or was that just
I didn't know that. That's interesting.
It was like I remember there was
I kept hearing that a number of times.
Interesting.
I never met anyone that was like that. It was like, oh man, I can't go to Pandora, guys. Like, what am I gonna do?
You can because it's over in Florida now.
It kind of became this like this existential
in the cave in the ride.
Existential dread of not being able to live that for real. I think it's true, but I mean, it was a sensation, man.
Oh, totally.
Whether we want it or not, that movie was huge. It's still the biggest movie ever.
Still got to see the sequel.
I think the sensation was a little, blown up a little bit in proportion.
Oh, I agree. Yeah.
Because there's things like the Ninja Turtles definitely was a huge sensation at the time. But people
I was depressed because I didn't get to live in a sewer.
I mean, you still can, Jason. You still can.
I wanted to be part of the Foot Clan.
I can go to Batu and live in Star Wars land.
That's cool.
They would smoke cigars and.
Cool. I mean, I'm just saying that underground club looked cool. I mean, if I had to go through all the initiation stuff, maybe not. But
I mean, it was cool that they butter them up and then they make them fight each other.
Yeah,
that was kind of weird.
Like,
all right, it's like enjoy these cigarettes in arcade. Now we do group karate.
Yeah, I need to get your ass beat. If it's your first night here, you have to fight.
Yeah.
So just moving on from Avatar, that was way longer than I was expecting, but it was a good conversation. They dropped this morning, a new poster for Willow and a new trailer for Willow. Oh, you didn't? It was cute. It was slightly shorter than the main trailer they dropped.
A lot of fantasy going on right now.
Yeah, we have. But this series opens up at the end of November 30th, I think. So we're literally, it's like one thing drops into the next. We're finally at that stage.
Lucas couldn't get the rights to The Hobbit, so he made Willow.
Correct, yeah. So I love the movie Willow, and I'm so excited to see the series.
It feels like Lord of the Rings, which is such a good thing. Like the original movie, it feels like its own property, which I always wish it was explored in just different avenues, but it kind of wasn't. It was just kind of left alone for a while, but it's back.
Yeah. I think it came out around a time when fantasies were huge, right?
Well, I think
it was not really. It came out at the end of 1989 is when it got released. I think it was.
That was the tail end of like the whole Sword and Shield.
Yeah.
Sword and Shield stuff.
Yeah, but it was
Legend, right?
It was the better of them, but it was never preceded that well. And I don't know how well the series is even going to go. I'd like to see it do well,
I think it's going to have some problems of people who... I think people in my generation don't know about Willow very well. I think people younger than me definitely don't know about Willow very well. I think it wasn't one of those movies that was shoved down the throats on channels like Disney Channel and HBO and stuff like that. So I don't think it has as wide of a reach as they think it does.
I'm just happy Warwick Davis got some work still.
I know. Yeah, I love seeing Warwick Davis just
other than going to conventions and moderators for panels and stuff like that.
Yeah,
you got his own show.
Oh, look, Liam knows about Willow.
Yeah.
Liam's like our canary in the mine shaft.
There you go. Yes.
It's like, if Liam knows about it, holy crap.
Yeah. No, I mean, the fact is, Willow I'm not expecting it to do massively well because
it's
amongst
not
all
do
these other fantasies, with the Rings of Power and House of the Dragon, which have been so big and so
Disney Plus,
epic
right?
recently. It's Disney Plus, but it will be lighthearted, and
that's what I think is also going to be the problem, is that it's aimed at a younger generation, and most fantasies right now are kind of going with the adult aspects of the fantasy, because people are, they grew up with a lot of fantasy, now they're able to latch on and really lean into the ideologies and physical and political aspects of the show.
It's
something young kids are watching some crazy stuff right now, actually. So
that's true.
Yeah. Something I just looked at just before we jumped online as well is Hocus Pocus did the best. Number 2, Hocus Pocus 2 did the best.
The Mama's
did the best opening, the most viewed opening online movie, I think ever, or something like that.
It's not surprising.
Really? It was
Hocus
crazy.
Pocus is huge.
2-point-something billion views in the first minutes of its billions within the release of its drop of around the world. So
that's crazy.
It's kind of crazy that it's like, how many? There's even that many people that have viewed it that many times in its first 24 hours. I think it was something crazy.
Yeah, I mean, people are into Halloween stuff,
Yeah,
you got to take that in consideration. Let's watch some spooky stuff, and I think people love Hocus Pocus.
And other news that I just wanted to touch on, because I just want to go through this really quickly. But Saturn Awards dropped last week for all these people who won, including Ke-Huy Quan, who Everything Everywhere All at Once, short round from Indiana
Jones. That Wong Kar-wai clip.
And then Ming-Na took in for Book of Boba Fett for Best Actress in a Streaming Series. Matt Reeves took The Batman for Best Film Direction, which was kind of interesting.
Nice.
And again, the Saturn Awards aim at sci-fi related series and movies. Strange New Worlds, which I agree that definitely was one of the best.
It was good.
Shows.
It was good.
Yeah, Oscar Isaac's got it for the Moon Knight.
Nice.
Oscar Isaac, best limited series to Obi-Wan. Loki for fantasy series.
Yeah.
Moses Ingram. I'm so glad that she got this for supporting actress for
Nice.
Obi-Wan. She was good despite all the hate, but despite everything. I'm glad.
I would have given it to Sylvie. I thought Sylvie was such a standout in Loki.
Yeah. Action adventure television is The Boys, which we all enjoy, and Hayden Christensen got best performing actor, which is kind of interesting. It's like, come on, this is kind of cool to see Hayden Christensen with an award in his hand. Come on, give it up for Hayden.
That's good stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel like the internet teamed up together to win him that one. Huh?
Yeah, you know what? That's good.
He deserves it.
He deserves it. From all the crap that he got from 20 years ago, he granted, is he the best performer out there? Probably not.
He's still not.
Do we enjoy him as Anakin? I do. I mean, what can I say?
He's Anakin.
He's Anakin.
Exactly. He's Anakin.
That's it. Yeah. Yeah.
I just feel bad for the young child actor who played him. He's
I thought it was just where's his flowers?
Like when I think of him now, all I think of is a mugshot.
Yes.
Oh god.
Oh yeah.
Unfortunately,
it's sad. It makes me depressed.
And the other thing that happened last Sunday was the finale. Wait, was it last Sunday or was it 2 Sundays ago now? The finale of no, it was last Sunday. House of Dragon had its season finale, which I know Elijah was not big on. How cool is this table? How
I didn't know it lit up.
I know. Cool that's it. I was saying they haven't lit up. I knew the table existed, but we've never seen it lit up.
That's some nice light piping there. It's
Jake Lloyd, that's the one. Yes.
Jake Lloyd.
Yeah, Jake Lloyd.
Yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was cool. And then this finale with the dragon and the kid.
We need more dragons and more swords next season.
Yeah. Yeah, and there was definitely not a huge amount of battles, but it was totally
it was peaceful times.
Yeah.
Guys. There was no wars going on.
But every single episode,
peaceful times.
I think you guys would agree with me.
Dragons has begun.
Well, like Viserys, Viserys' time was relatively peaceful.
Yeah,
it's just not that they all start killing each other.
Yeah, but I think at least Max and Jason, I mean, you'd probably agree that this is one of the few shows that are out there that every episode is like above average episode on every single episode.
Bangers.
They are
series.
really putting out something genuinely good, and it feels different than anything you see on TV. It definitely you would never see on TV 20 years
ago. Especially to like bounce back from the last season of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, I love the last season of Game of Thrones, so you know what? I detest that.
I was mediocre with it.
That's so weird, Max. Thought you're smarter than that. That's so weird.
You know why?
Being a contrarian.
I binged the whole thing, and then at season 2, I was like, "This is what's gonna happen." And I laid out the whole ending, and then most of what I said happened. So I was pretty spot
enough reason to like it though, just because you predicted it.
I was just checking off stuff I knew was gonna happen. I was like, "Yep." So it ended the exact way I thought it was gonna end.
We're going to get Elijah to enjoy watching shows with dragons in it eventually.
I'm excited for Willow.
There's no dragons in Willow that we know of.
Well, if it introduces, then I probably won't like it.
Yeah, there you go. Anyway, either way, House of the Dragon.
Did you guys? Speaking of dragons,
well, actually, there's no dragons in the first the first season of Game of Thrones.
Did anybody see anything about a new Never-Ending Story that Disney is doing? I just saw a poster, but I don't know if that was real or not.
They haven't got that far into it, but it's about the rights of Neverending Story. It is owned by a German company. That's why the original Neverending Story was in an American/German connection when it was shot.
I thought I saw like a coming soon poster, but it might have been like a fan made something.
Probably fan made right now, but I
looked it up. I'm like, huh? I didn't see anything about that.
Yeah, Dark Crystal. They did like a full-on reboot of Dark Crystal, right?
It wasn't a reboot. It was a prequel. It was the Jim Henson Company did the Dark Crystal Renaissance.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it never got enough views on Netflix, and it only got a season 1. But it was beautiful.
It was beautiful. It just stretched out.
It was Jim Henson's brother that did it, right?
Is that right?
It was Jim Henson's brother that did that show, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't that the whole thing?
I knew some people who worked on it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had.
It was like his family was making it, and it was like they were following all of Jim Henson's notes.
Well,
and stuff like
they got Brian Froud who did all the production.
Did you see the? They had a. You were just at the museum, Max. They had one of the. One of those vulture dudes, Skeksis. What are they called? Skeksis.
Yeah,
like an OG Skeksky, right next to like the Tim Burton matte painting.
Right.
Yeah. I was mostly looking at the Star Wars stuff. They had cool stuff there.
And they had some 2001 Space Odyssey stuff too. They had a suit
they had the
and like a spaceship.
Probe.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
I know I haven't talked about this, but if anyone, I think maybe I did show some video a few weeks ago. But if you get the chance, you've got to go down to downtown LA to Exposition Park if you're in LA, and just go past the Lucasfilm Museum. How epic this building is going to be when it's finished in 2025.
2025?
Yeah, it got pushed from 2023 to 2025. I can understand why.
2023.
No, it was. Yeah.
So I guess that's like affiliated with USC.
Yeah, but it looks phenomenal. If you drive past it,
they're all USC alums, you know.
Yeah,
it's
Exposition Park. That's like right next to campus.
Oh yeah. It's literally opposite next door.
That's the same exit you take to go to the Zemeckis Center.
Yeah.
But anyway, I just want to throw that in there. What else was there? Let's see.
Actually, me and Brent met at the Zemeckis Center.
Yeah, we did too. Yeah, it was the first time.
There was talk of the Vision Quest. I think is what you might be referring to.
That's it.
Which I don't see the point of a Vision Quest show unless they're introducing the West Coast Avengers to do something with him, because the whole Vision Quest story arc was kind of half done already in WandaVision, and all I need to do is just now it's just he needs to find his own identity.
Yeah.
But
it sounds like we'll be getting a series around Vision.
It's a robot trying to find himself, huh?
I think
it's going to be him putting together a young Avengers to try because he was
trying to find meaning.
It's going to be him trying to find meaning. He was created by Avengers. So he needs to find Avengers to create Avengers.
I hope there's more philosophy fights.
Yeah. Am I still a boat?
Am I still the boat? If you replace every bit, ship of Theseus.
I wish he did that whole thing, and then Vision looked at him and said, "You're clearly not a boat," and then just punched him in the face.
Oh, 2 shows? I didn't catch that. Okay.
Oh, they are a Young Avengers. Huh.
Nice.
I mean, it would make sense. They have a lot.
They
of
got all of
Avengers
them. They've established
laid
them, right?
out.
Yeah, pretty much.
But I mean, not really though, because I mean,
Well, think of all the Young Avengers that are out there who could team up now. That's a good amount of them.
Wiccan and Speed are kind of in the nether world of disappeared.
They're somewhere.
Cassie Lang got aged up. Kate Bishop's basically an adult.
Cassie Lang is still young. I think they're all young.
I think she's I think they're all going to be, the Young Avengers are going to be like young adult Avengers.
Yeah, I mean, when they say the Young Avengers, I don't see teenage. I think they're the newer generation of Avengers.
I'm thinking just younger than the previous ones.
I think the younger, the previous Avengers.
Yeah, that's it.
In their
yeah,
40s,
that's all.
That's fine. Yeah, that's it. Everybody else is in their 40s or 50s or whatever. Tony Stark is up there, and he's gone. Obviously,
I think
we got like
Iron Lad soon. A different version of Kang is a young Avenger.
I'm fine with the Young Avengers being the new generation, the next generation of Avengers is fine.
Riri Wilson's getting introduced in Black Panther. She's college age, so I guess
she's pretty much she's be like an Iron Heart.
So
is Heimdall's son gonna be?
God, no. That'd be cool. Maybe we'll get a Kid Loki though. That'd be fun.
The child.
The child Loki.
Yeah.
It looks like Jack White from the White Stripes.
Yeah.
It's like a young Jack White.
Yeah. Shall we jump into Andor for a little bit? We really haven't talked about the last 2 weeks or so, but Andor, this week we ended up on the prison kind of thing, and
we get introduced to Snoke, kind of cool. Snoke's origins.
Not quite. It's totally different character. But he could be Snoke. We don't know.
I doubt it. He just turns around and goes, "Oh, and by the way, my real name's Snoke," and then just dies.
There you go. Yeah, we never quite got his name, did we?
He sold his DNA to the guy that
That's it. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know. We definitely got a bit of a THX 1138, George Lucas's original movie in the prison cell. How do we
and silver face masks?
Yeah,
and those British knights that that they're wearing the DK Dimacels.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
BK Dimacels, bro.
Oh, we're at episode.
Star Wars is gonna sell those shoes that they have.
Oh
Someone's gonna make those shoes.
Did you get a screen grab of those shoes?
Oh, why? Wait! Did you watch it, Anchorman? Why the prisoners were barefoot? Because of the cool sneaker shoes that they were wearing. Because they electrified the floors when they decided to, and the sneaker shoes were designed to protect anybody wearing it. You see them here, actually. You got the cool.
Yeah, those kind of that's the futury looking shoes.
Yeah, the Reebok pump on the front. You like pump it up.
Yeah.
They do kind of like cobbled together Reebok pumps.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, what have you guys been thinking? We're at episode 8. We've got 4 more episodes left of the season. Where are you guys at with Andor right now?
I love it.
It's great. I wish the season had slightly more direction in terms of characters interacting with each other. I think we've seen so little of Andor talking to Luthen, and it's interesting. I think the most interesting thing for me was seeing Cyril and Deidre as her name.
Yeah, mm-hmm.
That was great.
I nice crossover.
Yeah. I kind of was hoping to see the stories cross over a little harder than they have been, because they've been a little separated so far.
Right.
But,
well, it's like in The Wire, the Sabatkas never really meet like any of the detectives.
Yeah.
But they all have a lot to do with each other.
Yeah. I think it's beautifully done, well written, well acted. I'm just missing that little bit of fun that, bounces around in the Star Wars universe. And I am missing aliens. I feel like we should be seeing more aliens. That is the other thing.
It feels very human-centric, which probably saved them a lot on budget, which allowed them to do stuff like the Awesome Prison and stuff like that. But
they do have. I mean, we know that they're using a lot of the stuff from the Force Awakens movies because it was shot in England. They're using a lot of that stuff as background. And there were a ton of aliens and creatures.
Actual locations.
No, but at the same time, they're using a ton of actual things that existed from the movies. And
I noticed one of the locations actually.
Oh yeah,
it's kind of a funny connection, but where they first land and the prisoners run out, and it's kind of like
right.
kind of like an open theater or whatever.
Yeah. Is it?
It's an actual open like theater in somewhere in South America, and if you look in No Effects backport whatever backstage back blah, blah, blah. No Effects did a behind the scenes like of a their tour. I'm going.
Oh, okay.
My mouth's not saying the right words. Backstage Passport is the name of the show. Anyways, they played a show at that little theater.
Okay.
It stood out to me. I'm like, oh, I was trying to say it, but I think we were watching. I was on mute because there was a
from our reaction
behind me or something. But I wanted to mention that. I noticed it right away.
Oh, that's interesting. That's cool. Oh, that's good to know. I am missing aliens. They've got access to all aliens, all that stuff sitting there in a warehouse in England, all the ones.
It costs money to make it look good on screen. They can't just put the mask over it. They gotta animate the eyes.
They've done that. All that. I mean, you need people to control things and stuff like that for any.
I know, it's just additional money, just additional costs to have aliens and stuff like that.
Not.
Plus, you gotta fly them in from space.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, I'm enjoying it.
These are nothing but nitpicks.
Oh, they're definitely nitpicks. Definitely nitpicks.
Aliens, that would be great, but
yeah,
I mean, it doesn't affect anything for me really.
Oh, it's
still like compelling
characters.
Than any other show.
Really? See, again, it's like I'm not putting Andor up there at my favorite in the sense of I do really truly do just miss the lighthearted.
It needs to be a comedy. You know, Brent and his comedies. It's got to be
hilarious.
No,
I do think it needs a little bit of levity in some scenes. I think
it needs more Borat.
It is a little stuffy at times.
There's no Borat.
Yeah, it is a little stuffy, a little slow at times. But I mean, it's always compelling. But at the same time,
that's the thing. It is always compelling, but it's hard. I think it'd be a hard show for me to binge without any of that levity in any episode. Like it's just a lot of dourness in the show.
Give me Mandalorian any day because of I get
with
more
Mandalorian,
entertained by
you get the tension, you get the action, you get a little bit of lightheartedness, but it doesn't. It's not like Marvel, where Marvel goes out of its way to make everything a comedy.
Right. Yeah.
Star Wars doesn't have to do that. They just add levity in the correct moments.
Totally.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. It needs to come from it usually is sourced through a character.
Yeah, that's the thing. Andor doesn't have a lot of characters.
This is what a lot of some of the prequels kind of lacked in that sense. I mean, it was all extremely focused on Jar Jar. So he was all the levity.
Right.
They thought he'd be enough to just carry the fun factor.
Everyone else is stoic, but we got this Jar Jar guy to balance everything out, which was
I just love that idea. It's such chaotic energy of just having all these characters who are just acting like a funeral all the time. The one character who's just
but then you got Jar Jar stepping on poop and electrocuting his
stepped poo poo. It's just it's such chaotic energy that just makes the whole
that's
thing
what
awesome.
That's kind of like what 3PO was in the first Star Wars. So there are moments.
He also wasn't as goofy. He was just a little worried.
Yoda was the same way too.
3PO seemed like your neurotic friend who was always worried about everything all the time. Like, oh, are we gonna make it to the concert in time and stuff like that?
But pre Jar Jar, he was the Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Like he was the goofy thing that was going on around everyone else, and they're pretty serious.
Yeah. And then, any other thoughts from Andor from this
There was a moment of levity when he was being choked by that Imperial robot, and he was like, "Tell them." He's like,
"Tell them not very dry."
Tell them not. He didn't mean hang in there. He didn't mean hang. Tell him.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah,
and there's
very
snarky moments with it's pretty dry, but I wouldn't say it's void of any.
This show, honestly, it feels
it's not
a lot more. It feels like it has a lot more British sensibilities than American.
Yes, that's what makes it very different. Yeah, it does. I agree there.
It feels like a British drama rather than an American, something like Breaking Bad, which did have a lot of levity and a lot of fun factor in it, and something that always had to have explosions and something that didn't fit the characters whatsoever to make the show more fun.
Yeah, I didn't have him run over by a Pontiac Aztec, running over some gangsters. Man, I kind of want to watch Breaking Bad again.
I was just rewatching it. And I was thinking about all the there's so many ridiculous things in that show that make no sense. Like Walt is a chemist, right? But he's also suddenly the best engineer in the world. He's also just like the master scientist where he can do any field.
He was shafted from his like award, man. He is one of the best out there.
Yeah,
but then he got shafted from his awards.
He was the best business partner. He was the best chemist. Suddenly he's like doing all these other different types of science where it's why is he a master at everything? And then he also just played some real stupid moments, like when he's trying to steal a barrel and he's not rolling it. And even Hank is like, "You moron, you roll it." Like, sometimes it just doesn't add up.
Yeah.
Sometimes the most brilliant minds do the most basic of things and don't think about the most basic tasks.
When you're watching the show and then you think about like certain points in the show, it's like, what the hell is this show?
Yeah, sometimes it's real.
So
I think the first 2 seasons though were the best at Breaking. I know it's off topic, but that was when Walt was showing his chemical prowess.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like it just gets it gets insane after that.
Yeah. And last thing I wanted to jump on
engineering stuff. You're right.
Yeah, last thing I wanted to jump on was we did a reaction video to this, but Tales of the Jedi. Sitting back and thinking about it, guys, what were your overall thoughts?
I know the reason why it's so focused on Clone Wars, but it's not that I'm sick of Clone Wars content. It's just I wish we got tales of other Jedi that are less explored. And people, I think Dooku was great.
Dooku heavy, right?
Dooku was great. I could have done with a different character other than Ahsoka being the other focus. Ezra would have been cool in some ways. I think I would have preferred Luke. I think they need to. I think they got to put some work around Luke.
It just felt very Dave Filoni.
Yeah.
It most definitely was a love letter to the Clone Wars and that era for sure.
Yeah.
And you really do have to, it's when you look back and it's like you do have to understand what was going on in the animated Clone Wars to kind of pick up on little things along the way here and there. So
I've seen enough Clone Wars to pick it up.
Yeah, but there's some stuff in there that were just like he hit the target audience of the people that love the Clone Wars specifically. I do love the fact that when you dealt with the Dooku stuff, we went prior to the Clone Wars, and I feel like
that was the earliest we've ever seen any Star Wars material.
Yep,
it was young Dooku and young Qui-Gon. It's like if we start the whole timeline, that is the very beginning.
Yeah,
because that's pre episode 1.
Oh yeah, but the thing I am kind of thinking of that I feel like Dave Filoni's always got 2 sides to everything when he presents something. He presented this as a series of thumbnails that he drew up and wrote down and did on plane flights back and forth across the country as little short stories that he someday might have wanted to tell. But it also is, let's test the field and see whether the audience is going to be willing or interested and invested enough to pick up on stories prior to the Clone Wars, because you've got a lot of stuff going on between Palpatine becoming into power.
Wants to get beyond the Clone Wars.
But I think
I don't think so.
Palpatine isn't the interesting thing here. I think the focus was Dooku, and I think that's way more compelling than anything Palpatine has.
I never got to finish where I was going with
Palpatine, dude.
But
it's so boring.
But the earlier years of that thing there's a lot of things that sprout from that is where I was going. And the fact is that Dooku was just one of those things that sprouted from that. There's an immense amount of stories that can still be told, especially around Qui-Gon Jinn and that sort of stuff.
Why are we so focused on so much Clone Wars and prequel stuff when it feels like so much stuff is lacking between the area between the original trilogy and the sequels?
No, you're right. You're right.
Completely unexplored. And I think maybe there needs to be some major focus on bridging the gap between some of the stuff we really haven't seen yet.
Oh no, totally. I agree, and I feel like that is going to be coming. But I feel like
Separatists are always right. Yeah.
If there is an investment to Disney and Lucasfilm that telling more stories in the Clone Wars era or prior to the Clone Wars era is worth putting another series out there, another time period, then we are definitely going to get into, and the Bad Batch, of course, is post Order 66. I can't wait to the day that we get, A New Hope onwards as animated stories around Luke Skywalker or Princess Leia or
I think
Han
that's
Solo
kind of what we need to kind of get to.
Yeah.
They have that. They haven't even gotten to that.
I mean, that's where we are with Mandalorian.
Yeah,
I mean, Mandalorian is the closest we're getting to that, but I think that's there's still a large gap that needs to be bridged between what we've seen, the end of Luke in the original trilogy to the start of Luke, and we've seen him in the Mandalorian. There's a lot of unanswered questions about what the hell he's doing.
There's even gaps in between, Empire Strikes Back and
those are the ones I'm referring to. Sorry,
Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
I mean, those gaps have been filled by comic books and
correct. They have, but
the post original trilogy hasn't been really explored whatsoever besides Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's what we're getting with Mandalorian. That's why it's doing so well, because that is the gap that we want.
And I think that is the gap we want. We want to know what happened to Leia and Luke and Han after.
And we're getting that filled up with Boba Fett. Book of Boba Fett filled in a lot of that too as well.
Yeah, I mean, I think people weren't happy with a lot of the direction of the original trilogy characters in the sequels, and I think people want to see the bridge between those two trilogies to see. Maybe feel more comfortable with how they felt with those characters in the sequel movies.
Right. But if you consider the fact...
We need to see the disillusion of Han and Leia's marriage. I think that's one of those things that I would love to see, maybe an animated or maybe or even a comic of it, just to see where Kylo gets some of his rage from, to see, just about his home life and how that affected him as a person.
Yeah. But the other thing that Dave Filoni does very well, and this is an expression from the Clone Wars, from the prequel films, there is stuff that he put in here with animated Dooku, and if you actually, and I did actually go back and watch some of the Attack of the Clones stuff with Count Dooku, and it made and enhanced a lot of the dialogue that was never quite strong around Dooku's two-dimensional villainess that he was in Attack of the Clones. And it enhances that background as to the depth of who Count Dooku is, what Qui-Gon Jinn meant to him, what Mace Windu and his connection meant to him.
I mean, they keep making Mace Windu worse. Is it just me? They keep making this guy we're just going to make him super unlikable, and he's the guy that screwed the Jedi consistently. He kind of did it, Ares, that's for sure.
I
mean, they're making him. He went from someone who was just believed in the cause, someone who believed in the cause so much, he'll throw away the entire Jedi Order.
Yeah, Mace Windu sucks, man.
But that was also part of the fall of the Jedi Knights themselves.
But I think
that's a big part of it.
I know, they're putting it all on Mace. They always make it seem like when there's a Jedi who has to make them look bad, we'll just put Mace Windu in there.
That's kind of funny, but it's it is true.
It just makes the Jedi dumb, man.
No. It makes them blind.
Dumb too.
I think it makes them blind to the idea of what the dark side's all about.
Yeah, and they're dumb for that.
I think they were
with all this clairvoyance and this order, you'd think they'd do a lot better, but they suck, and they deserved to fall.
They really suck at preventing evil. When especially there's two of them. There's two bad guys, and they're we don't know what to do. There's only 50 of us.
It's just all I'm getting from any of these watching Clone Wars and any of this stuff is how much the Jedi suck.
Well, it's how they fell into the illusion, the disillusion. Exactly. Yeah, they were.
I'm not talking about how they suck. I'm just saying they do suck. So you agree?
Jason's right. There's 100 of them, and they all have different powers. Maybe one of them has clairvoyance.
Where are they now?
Shouldn't there have been one of them who saw this coming and I mean, they all just sucked. It looked like.
And on top of this, now that we saw Yaddle talk, that establishes that. What the hell is Yoda doing? Just
wait. There is a story behind that. Apparently,
I'm sure I'm gonna hate this.
No,
Yeah,
apparently in Yoda's upbringing, his master spoke like that, and a Jedi, their species takes on the
right.
I know.
That is part
It's
of written
stupid.
canon. That is
It's
part of written
dumb.
canon.
That is them shelving the
doesn't mean
idea
it's
of
not
that's how
dumb.
Yoda's species
No,
talk.
that is factual canon. That is the reason why. I didn't know that until I was told this week.
Dumb.
I know. I think it's such a weird explanation. It makes it so there could only be one person that talks like that now, and it makes it so it's easier.
Fine.
I don't know.
I'm fine
it's
with
just
that.
a dumb explanation.
Nah, man.
Well,
by choice.
Can you imagine how? Yeah. But can you imagine
away
how Grogu's going to sound from all this? He's going to be talking like the Mandalorian when he's like 150 years old.
Hey guys, what's up?
If they're smart, they're not going to make him talk at all.
Yeah, well, until he's much older.
But
if they do 500 years later or something.
Walking out of Tales of the Jedi just made me like Count Dooku a lot more. Fleshed out his. I've always kind of been interested in his character.
Yeah.
When especially talking about like, it's like, dude, come on, we can take them both down.
Yeah.
Like we don't need the Jedi, we don't need the Sith. Like that was interesting to me, and he got snuffed out too soon.
But the manipulation that Palpatine uses is the exact same manipulation tactics he used on Anakin too over the course of years. So it was kind of fun.
And I'm sick of Palpatine's manipulations. He's not interesting at all.
I'm so tired of even hearing the name Palpatine or the Emperor.
I think his evilness has run its course. At this point, I don't get why the average person couldn't just throw a chair at him and knock him out. Like. He just seems like I'm just so sick of him. Like,
you're missing so many of the deeper layers that are there.
I know. There's a lot of deeper layers there, but I'm saying I think he would have been JFK'd in a real Star Wars situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, he wasn't. So there you go. But at the end of the day, it's like I feel that the idea of the Tales of the Jedi is worthy of the fact of being put out there, because the reality is it is going to be a testing ground again to prove to Lucasfilm and Disney Animation and Disney itself.
Just get something for Dave Filoni to do.
To be able to do more animation and continue to do more animation, which Star Wars should still primarily be done, and fill in these other gaps. They don't have to primarily stay within the Clone Wars.
I think they should do actually more specials like Marvel's doing. I think they would do well with that one-shot kind of format. They could do something like just interesting side stories, like interesting pilot fights, dog fights in space. They could do the story behind it. They could do.
Well, like they did with that Animatrix, Star Wars Animatrix.
Yeah. Imagine live action
specials. I'd love to see more of that.
An interesting story.
Well, we are going to get more of that. Visions is apparently doing season 2, which they're doing a different cultures around the world are going to be now doing official pieces of anime stuck within. Or anime style animation stuck.
That's interesting. Do we know what they're doing next season yet?
They're doing a couple from Japan. There's only going to be one sequel to I think it was the 9th Jedi. From what I understand, is going to get a direct sequel.
Jedi Ethan.
But then there's going to be a couple from, I think Germany was one of the places. I could be wrong on that. I heard there's a couple.
I remember you talking about. It was like it'd be cool to see animation.
I know,
from Germany.
And now they're actually doing it. They're actually doing that. It's like
they should do like a French. They should do a French cartoon then.
Yeah, I mean
that's rooted to like French sci-fi.
Supposedly that's where it's going anyway, and they've already picked other companies around the world to do other styles of animation connected to their own culture and their own history, kind of thing, and tell a story within that universe. But it's still going to be non-canon. And so
I don't know why they're so afraid of making canon stuff. Like,
in what sense?
They're willing to do they not want these creators to have any hold in Star Wars, or they just wanted to give them unlimited freedom?
I think they just want to give them unlimited freedom, as far as I know.
But if none of it's canon,
there's still plenty of room for canon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I think there's plenty of room for a lot of the stuff to be canon. I think some of the stuff that they're doing is some of the most innovative Star Wars.
So these are just like campfire tales.
Yeah, exactly.
How do they fit into the lore?
I think some of them could have been canon. Like the Ronin, I think would have totally worked as a canon story. I think that would have been. Yeah. We never got a time period or anything for
even
it.
the Ninth Jedi could be definitely canon. I mean, it's already warranted a sequel.
Some of them were so interesting that they fit perfectly into the lore. They don't need to be expanded on or anything, but they could just live in that universe.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I like that. I think that it's such a big universe. Like, I'd
That's
like
what
to
I'm
see.
saying. I think they're making it smaller right now by focusing on the same characters and focusing on the same stories.
Well, just like so many cameos, like everything's connected. Like you see 3PO and R2 in every single thing. Like,
they're
we don't need
everywhere.
It shrinks the world, man. It's a bigger world than that.
That's what I'm saying. We need to open it up to these. Just anything could be, not anything we can, but a lot of these stories that are just wouldn't interact with any of the main storylines going on could be canon
stuff that just help build the universe. Be great.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Anyway,
it's weird that the Ronin it got continued in a comic book, but even that's still not canon.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which is weird that they're using the whole comics to push what's canon in Star Wars, and now they're pushing non-canon stuff because it was just popular and made money.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, we were at an hour and a half at this point. There was a lot to cover this week. It was kind of crazy.
I'm sure we missed some stuff.
I'm sure we missed some stuff.
I don't think we ever got our full thoughts on James Gunn as DC CEO. So
yeah. I mean, we're going to learn more about that in the future, and I'm sure there's going to be plenty.
Well, if he just takes what he did with Peacemaker and just continue with that, I'd be happy.
Yeah. But for now, I think we'll call it. Thank you out there for the chat for joining us, and we'll be doing another reaction video this week for Andor. We've just dropped a whole pile of reaction videos from Andor to Tales of the Jedi. Stuff like that, so check that out as well. And and then we'll be here again next Sunday live chatting about whatever news comes up in the next week and discussing it with everyone. So we shall catch you all later, and thanks guys once again.
Pick another target, a military target.